Good morning, sir. Good morning, classmates. I am Maria Danica Luis Aslianas from BS Ed 2B Mathematics, and I'm going to talk about students' diversity in motivation. But first, what is diversity and what is motivation? Diversity is the quality or state of having different forms, types, ideas, etc. The state of having people who are different races or who have different cultures in a group or organization. And beyond all that, diversity also means us being able to live, work, have equal education, and socialize in a setting that is free of prejudice and systematic racism. While motivation is the act or process of giving someone a reason of doing something. It is what causes us to act on something. Students who by themselves are already as diverse also differ in motivation. This diversity in motivation may be traced to differences in age, developmental stage, gender, socioeconomic, and cultural background. Our students' motivational drives reflect the elements of the culture in which they grow up, their family, their friends, school, church, and books. To motivate them all for learning, it is best to employ differentiated approaches. Let's start with age. Young children often want to gain teachers' approval to be motivated. Students become intrinsically motivated if their teachers give them reinforcement such as verbal feedback, such as good, very good, excellent. Maboost ang confidence sa mga young ones and are more likely motivated, which would result in a positive behaviors and the desire to learn more. However, the older ones are typically more interested in gaining the approval of their peers. They need to feel that they fit in and that they belong in a certain group. Mas motivate sila if ang approval gikan sa ilang classmates and friends rather than their teachers. Students often become less intrinsically motivated as they progress through the school years. In this year, the students exhibit preferences for an easy rather than challenging task. Learning goals may go in a wayside and performance goals was more prevalent. So they want an easy task to avoid looking dumb. They want to look smart. So unsa may mas gusto nila i-learn? Katong mga useful sa ilaha. Students will value activities that will have usefulness for them in their personal and professional lives. Students' subjects that are not directly applicable will decrease in popularity. Students get motivated if they do activities with the use of technologies. Kay maupod ni ma-encounter nila everyday, labi na in this century. The elementary students tend to attribute their successes to effort and hard work. So praising their level of effort improves their motivation to learn. So mas effective ni siya ang pag-praise sa effort sa mga childhood. However, in adolescence, students attribute success and failure more to an ability that is fairly stable and uncontrollable. Dili na kayo mo work ang pag-praise sa ilang effort sa adolescents because mas more conscious sila sa ability stereotypes. Next, we have the students' cultural background can influence their attributions. So for instance, students of Asian background are more likely to attribute academic achievement to unstable factors like effort and attribute appropriate or inappropriate behaviors to temporary situational factors than students brought up in the mainstream Western culture. So there are different motivational patterns for students belonging to ethnic communities. Students from Asian families may feel more pressured to perform well in school. So di ba kanang makita nato sa mga American or Western movies, there's always that one character na mo excel in terms of academic achievements. Kaya lagi diri mas grabe ang pressure diri sa Asian countries in terms of education. And next, we have gender. Females are also more concerned about doing well in school. They work harder on assignments, earn higher grades, and are more likely to graduate from high school. Which is kind of funny though, because in the past, women were given less opportunity to education. They were only to focus on household chores and how to be good wives to their dearest husbands. And now nga natagaan nga na sila og education both genders, studies and service shows that girls have better grades. So I guess women just proved themselves that they can do as much as men and even more. So ngano kaha nga murag mas mag-do better ang girls in terms of grades? So there's a study by Joseph Workman and Ank Hader about gender achievement gaps. So they found that female students experience fewer social costs to trying hard in school than male students. Males were 1.75 times as likely to report they would be unpopular for trying hard in school and 1.5 times as likely to report they would be made fun of for trying hard. So their findings demonstrate the importance of peer norms in shaping students' behavior and decision making in school. In particular, they illustrate the role of social costs to trying hard in school for understanding gender differences in students' academic effort and achievements. So it is important sad na i-motivate sad nato ang as teachers ang male students for their trying hard in school kay mostly manggod dili na kay murag expected na mga male nga mo try hard. So as teachers always remember to appreciate the little things sad. Give credit and recognition to hard work no matter how small kay makatabang nagdako sa pag-motivate sa every student. Next, we have socio-economic background. Students from low-income family are among those likely to be at risk of failing grades and dropping out of school. There is this pattern of failure that may start quite early for lower income students. So as you can see sa duha ka picture, on the left side, the lower income student, magsaligid siya sa self-study. Tabangan lang dyan niya yung kaugalingon. However, ang PICAS, pwede siya mag-self-study, but pwede po siya tuturan kay naman sila'y ikabayad para ana. And also, according to a recent study by the National Center for Education Statistics, at the same time, lower income students have difficulties in their everyday living. Maglisod gani sila silang everyday living, unsa na lang ang pag-catch up nila sa mga requirements in class. Ma-unmotivate na ang mga lower income students kay magtanaw pa lang sila sa presyo sa mga requirements sa klase, expensive na. Unlike sa mga higher income students, motivated sila kay di na nila kailangan mag-worry about money. And sunod, in relation ron sa pandemic, so makita nato sa left side, daghan kayog factors nga maka-affect para sa motivation sa lower income student. Makita nato na usara iyang gadget, nga napigid siya sa open area. There are many possible factors such as background noises and ang pag-focus niya sa klase. However, sa higher income student, kompleto na iyang gadgets, naapa siya headset nga maka-focus dyan sa klase and napigid siya iyang own privacy. So makita dyan nato ang differences sa higher income o lower income students. Mas less ang motivation sa lower income kaysa sa higher income students. Next, we have special needs. Students with special educational needs show the greatest diversity in motivation. Some students who are gifted may have high intrinsic motivation to learn classroom subject matter. So, they easily get bored when their expectations are not met. So, kailangan jud dakog motivation para ani mga students. And also, students with specific or general academic difficulties may show signs of learned helplessness with regard to classroom tasks. So, example ani nga students are those with learning disabilities, katong mga na mental retardation. Nya di lang kay helplessness, but they are also unwilling to approach new tasks. They apply maladaptive behavior to new situations nga capable sila of academic success, but they think their efforts are useless. And lastly, students who have difficulty getting along with their classmates may inappropriately attribute their social failures to factors beyond their control. So examples ani are those with emotional disorders and behavioral disorders. So unmotivated jud sila, especially if their past efforts have been repeatedly met with failure. And for these students, there are two principles on the social and cultural influences on motivation. Number one, students are more likely to model the behaviors they believe are relevant to their situation. Second, students develop greater efficacy for a task when they see others. Students develop greater efficacy for a task when they see others like themselves performing the task successfully. So both principles explain that students who have seen individuals ahead of them having the same beliefs, personality, and backgrounds are most likely to be their models. It would be best to show young individuals a good match of their personality. This gives them a sense of trust and comfortability. They will be more motivated to do tasks when they see that the individual they follow has set a good example for them. So, in conclusion and summary, students' diversity in motivation can be traced to differences in age, gender, developmental stage, socioeconomic status, and cultural background. Students in a learning environment interact with others who are in some way different from them. Different factors affect this diversity among individuals, such as their socioeconomic status, their thinking or learning style, and exceptionalities. It would be challenging to a teacher for a teacher to handle a class with students who are diverse. Students' motivational drives reflect the elements of the culture in which they grow up, their family, their friends, school, church, and books. To motivate all of them for learning, it is best to employ differentiated approaches. So to end this report, I will end with this report with the phrase, different folks, different strokes. What is medicine for one may be poison for another. So always remember that people are different. Every individual is different. They have different needs and different wants from others. Thank you. Thank you for listening.